Okay, today we're going to do a short beginner Pilates mat class. So we'll start out lying down on the mat. First, what we'll do is find our alignment. So with your knees bent and your feet on the mat, have your feet and knees together, pivot your heels out, and then have your toes follow into alignment. And now we have our alignment for our feet, knees, hips. Next, we'll start with rolling out the neck, nice and slow, left to right, releasing any tension you might have in your neck. And then we'll bring the face to center, nose is pointed at the ceiling, about a 90-degree angle from your chin to your chest. Next, we'll shrug the shoulders up toward our ears, and then reach down and away, reach up toward the ears, and then down and away. We'll do one more time, a nice squeeze up, and then we'll just bring the shoulders gently away from the ears so that we're not shoving our shoulder blades down our back, but they're also no longer up in our ears. So then the arms can be placed on the mat here. When the arms are on the mat, have them pressed in at about a 1 or a 2, like you're lying on the beach and you're trying to feel the warmth of the sand through your towel. Just a nice gentle press. Next thing we'll do is a pelvic tilt to kind of just get some movement in the pelvis and lumbar spine. So what we'll do is we'll tuck in and then arc out. So imagine your tailbone is like a rocking horse, and we're just moving back and forth, getting some nice movement here. And now we're going to find our neutral pelvis. So a neutral pelvis is not a super arcing back, but we're also not jamming, I shouldn't say jamming, we're also not completely pressing our spine into the mat as we do in classical Pilates. The classes that I teach are modern Pilates, so we maintain a neutral pelvis. So with that, we'll still be tilted toward the mat slightly, but there's still going to be a small gap of space in the lower back because we want to preserve that natural double S curve when we're working on strengthening our bodies. So way we can check to make sure we're in neutral, imagine that on your lower abdominals you have like a tray of marbles and you're trying to balance those. You wouldn't want them to roll around at all. That's one thing that you can do to think about it. You could think about bringing the bottom of your rib cage, like instead of having it pointed up toward the ceiling, kind of tilt that down slightly and then bring the hips also in toward the ribs so they're kind of magnetizing together. And one way I really like to check is you can find this jutty out hip bone, which is your ASIS, and then in the back here, just outside of your low back or outside of your spine, there's another bump called your PSIS. And if you find both of those, one with each hand, you want to try to find a nice vertical line to where those are in alignment. And then you've got your neutral pelvis. So now that we're in neutral, we're going to try to maintain that throughout most of the exercises. And we're going to switch to our breathing. So just let your belly and chest rise and fall. On your next exhale, really push all the air out and bring the belly button in toward the spine. And then let it rise again with the next breath. Next exhale, we're going to pull the belly button in toward the spine again. And this time we're going to hold it in. So we're going to switch our breath into our rib cage, which is posterior lateral breathing. So it'll be like a billow, like where when we breathe in, we want to expand horizontally through our rib cage and back into the mat through the rib cage so that we're still maintaining that active deep abdominal core. So with that, to make sure your abs are engaged, imagine that I'm going to come step on your abdominals like how you would brace for that, and we'll move into our first exercise now that we have our head to toe alignment. So the first thing we're going to do is neutral 1, sometimes referred to as marching. So we'll bring the right leg up into tabletop and then lower that leg. And then left leg comes to tabletop and lower. And we'll just keep doing these alternating legs. And although we're moving our legs, the actual purpose of this exercise is to stabilize through the core. So we don't want to be swooshing back and forth through the hips. We don't want to be doming through the abdominals. We're staying nice and still like a statue, a relaxed statue from the hips and up. Now granted, when I say relaxed, what I mean is we're not tensing through the neck. We're not holding our breath. We are still breathing, but we are engaged through our core, and the moving of the legs is creating instability to challenge those deep muscles to be able to stabilize the lower spine and just to maintain this movement with the pelvis. So we can either stay right here. If this is feeling like a good challenge, after a while this should start to feel tiring. What we can do is move on to neutral 2. Now there is a pretty big shift in strength moving from neutral 1 to neutral 2. So go ahead and give your knees a hug, take a break here. I'm going to demonstrate neutral 2, and if you feel like you're ready to do it, then do it, but if not, go ahead and switch back to neutral 1 for another set. So with neutral 2, we'll bring the right leg up into tabletop, and we're going to leave it there. Gently press the arms into the mat to brace yourself to bring the left leg up into tabletop. The right leg comes down first, and then the left leg follows. Next, the left leg will come up first. Right leg comes up to tabletop, left leg comes down, right leg comes down. So we're going to keep alternating, each leg getting a turn to lead, and then whoever leads will also be who goes down first. So like I said, if you're starting to feel like a big doming in your abdominals, or if you're shifting with the movements, then go ahead and back up to neutral 1. And one thing I want to add is if you're having that big shift when you bring up your legs, then it means you're not in neutral. So go ahead and pull back in, engage, really engage deep, and then you can give it a try. Otherwise, go back to neutral 1, because the thing with Pilates is as long as you're feeling challenged, then you're being challenged and you're growing, and it doesn't matter if you can do the advanced exercises yet. If you stay consistent, you will be building the strength and you'll definitely get there. So, good. Go ahead and hug your knees to your chest. Kind of rock it out for a second. And we're going to put the feet back on the mat, pivot out the heels, toes to follow. Make sure you're in that neutral, abs are engaged. Next, we're going to do ab prep. So fingertips are reaching toward the ankles. Slightly tuck the chin like you're holding a juicy plum under your chin. You wouldn't want to squeeze too hard, but we're going to hang on to that plum. Take a nice inhale, and then exhale to curl up and reach. Inhale to come back down. Abs are still engaged. Exhale, reach. Inhale to come back down. As we keep doing these, I'm just going to talk you through a few things. So we're bending at the sternum. It's like right where your lower brow line would be. That's where you want to feel like that curl in your upper body. We'll go for 3, 2, and 1. Good job. If your neck starts to feel fatigued during any point of lifting your head, you can put your hands behind your head and then just kind of put the thumbs at the little notch in the back of your head and pull up. That way we're creating stabilization for the neck rather than pulling on it, which is also straining for the neck. All right, so next we're going to add ab prep and neutral 1 together. So go ahead and exhale to curl up into ab prep, and we're just going to start marching out our legs again, still staying really still and stabilized through the core, pulling in deep through the low abdominals, still breathing. Again, if your head starts to feel heavy because your neck is working pretty hard to lift our heavy heads, you can bring the hands behind the head just to help support. We'll do one more on each leg. Good. Go ahead and lower your head, roll it out from left to right, and hug the knees to the chest. Next, we'll go into single leg circles. So first we'll just warm up the leg, bending and flexing at the knee, or flexing and bending, that's the same thing. And then at the ankle, toe pointed toward the ceiling, nice and strong through the leg, fingertips pointed toward the ceiling, plant the shoulders back like a fence post. Or if you need added stabilization, we can press those arms into the mat. Left leg can stay bent, and it's okay also if this leg is bent. If your hamstrings are tight, then they'll need to be bent. We'll stay here, fingertips pointed or on your mat. And again, left leg can be bent, or if it's bent, it's going to give you more stabilization. We're going to just start drawing circles on the ceiling here. And with this, sometimes you can have a lot of movement, but we really want to utilize all the chances that we have to activate the core. So let's keep that neutral pelvis and stay really stabilized. And then switch directions of your circle. Don't forget to breathe. Good. Hug the knee to the chest and the left leg long. And then we'll switch, warming up this leg. Good. And then bending and straightening, pointing at the ankle. Good. Fingertips pointed toward the ceiling. Plant the shoulders back. And we're stabilized through our core, bracing through the abdominals. We'll start drawing our circle. We're trying not to sway from side to side, but to stay really stabilized. And switch directions. We're aiming for about the size of a dinner plate with these circles. But do whatever you can. The smaller the circle, the easier it will be to stabilize. So, and one leg is usually drawing squares, and that's okay. Good. Hug the knee to the chest and send the other leg long. All right, and that's just like a brief workout to get you, sorry, I took my hair out when I was laying down. So that's a brief exercise that you can do just to kind of get you familiar with some of the Pilates choreography that you would come across in class. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know.